I've gotten really good at doing hard things and oftentimes challenging myself to do those hard things. I left a six-figure corporate job, a very visible leadership role. I showed up here for 100 days in a row on YouTube, even when I was tired and had nothing to say. I bought a home on my own, and the list just goes on and on. Again, I've gotten really good at doing hard things. But what I just came out of may have been one of the most challenging things I've done, or at the bare minimum, have done in a long time. And that's what I want to talk about in today's video. I want to talk about what I did, why I did it, what came up for me, and how it may be able to help you too. If you're new here, I'm Erica Prevail, and I talk about lifestyle redesign. I talk about modern work culture and how I cured myself from corporate brain rot. I talk about wellness, and I talk about creativity. Today's tea of the day, because we're definitely going to need something to sip on, is I have mixed up some concoction, girl. I got black cherry mixed with turmeric and ginger. And it's not bad. I think the turmeric and ginger balances out the tartness of the black cherry, so it's really good. So I didn't know if I was going to talk about this. I did mention it, like, I guess hinted around to it on my community tab weeks ago to my audience, like when I was in the middle of this thing about how challenging it was, and if they wanted to hear about it, to let me know. And I'm the type of person where when I go through something, like, I need time to process it, and I'm definitely not going to be running to the internet to talk about it immediately. And I know a lot of people make a lot of money online doing that. I call it like bleeding on the internet. I'm never going to do that. And also, this video might be like just a little bit all over the place. So if you're new here and you like videos that are very succinct and structured, this might not be the video for you. But I do want to talk about, and I have a lot of notes because so several weeks ago, because I did this several weeks ago, and I'm recording this on July 3rd. So this will probably come out of weeks from now. I spent 7 days in silence. 7 days. So no TV, no radio, no podcast, no audiobooks, no nothing, like no music, like silence. And this isn't not like a digital detox, because me, just the way I live my life, I wasn't starting this from scratch, because I already have like very intentional quiet time throughout my day. But to go for 7 full days with no TV, no podcasts, no audiobooks, no music, no nothing, and I work from home and I live alone, it was one of the most challenging things that I have ever done. And it was definitely a type of sensory rest. I talk about rest often on my channel, and there are 7 different types of rest. I know people often just think of rest as physical rest, but sensory rest is one of the 7 types of rest, like just taking a break from all of the things that overstimulate us, like, I don't know, lights, noise, those types of things. And with me already having a very intentional quiet time practice daily, this was tough. And you're probably asking, well, Erica, why did you even do this? Well, I did it because I am, I feel like I am in a season, or I'm feeling as if, and I'm trying to use my words like, because I don't want to misspeak on anything. I am in a season where I just feel like everything I try isn't working. Like like I'm still navigating a traditional 9 to 5. I'm building a business, and I just felt a level of like stuckness, and like everything that I'm trying isn't working, even when it feels aligned. And when I get in those spaces, and what I mean by, and I'm specifically speaking around like my business and what I'm creating. And my business makes money, but it doesn't make enough money to sustain me. And I'm just feeling like all of the things that I'm trying to grow my business, to put out services, to put out products, to post, consistently on YouTube, like I feel like nothing is working. And when I say nothing, I mean like growth, like either revenue, views, people buying my services, coming into my community, on my newsletter. I just feel like nothing is working. I was just in that space. It's just like everything that I'm trying wasn't working, even when it feels aligned. Like I'm showing up here on YouTube talking about the topics that I talk about because that feels very aligned. I'm going to wait. If you can hear the ambulance or whatever that is. Okay. I had to cut that part out. There was like a loud ambulance out there. But I'm talking about like in my business, I'm showing up here and I'm talking about these things because they feel very aligned for me. Me talking about lifestyle design, how I got out of burnout, how I stay, but more importantly, how I stay out of burnout, how I stay out of that constant exhaustion loop, how I cured myself from corporate brain rot, talking about creativity and its importance in that, talking about lifestyle redesign, talking about wellness, like all of those things are aligned. Me creating the Ambition Reset, which is a 7-day digital product based on what I did to reset my ambition, creating spaces like the Refill, the guided creative experience, my newsletter, like creating all of these very aligned things. And I just felt a level of like, again, stuckness, like nothing is working. Like, why? Just a lot of whys, a lot of questions around my growth. And when I get in seasons, especially like after I've done all of this work and self-development over the years, when I get in spaces like that, I feel like my life or God is asking something deeper of me. Like it's calling for me to do something that I have not done before. What is going on out here? So that's why I did it, because I just felt like my life was calling. Now that's the fire truck. I'm trying to cut as much as that out as I can because I'm sure you don't want to hear the ambulance and the fire truck going by. But I did this because I feel like my life or God was asking more from me, asking something different from me, especially when I get into spaces of like feeling stuck or like, why isn't this working? I'm trying everything, going hard, stepping back. So I was like, you know what? I want to do 7 days of silence. And why I picked 7, girl, I don't know. I just picked 7 days of silence. And what I expected was I wanted to hear from God. I wanted some clarity, some direction, a divine download. Who And what do I need to be connected to? Like, is it some people, a group? Of course, being more connected to Him, I know, to God. But what is it that I'm missing? What else do I need to do? What do I need to pivot from? What do I need to relax into? What is it? Like that is the reason why I did it. Like, do I need to be more still? Do I need to pivot? Do I need to wait longer? Like, what is it? Like, I that's why I did it. And not the garbage man. Everybody want to come by now. And that's why I did it, because I wanted to hear from God. And I oftentimes think the best way to hear from Him is to get quiet and to be still. Now, I'm going to tell you about these 7 days. I'm not going to go day by day, but I am going to share some of the things that came up for me on certain days, because, like I said, this was very tough. And why I'm so shocked, like I wasn't ready, like I was not ready. And the reason why I'm so shocked is because I already have like a very intentional, quiet routine. Like the first hour to 2 hours of my morning is quiet time. Like I'm reading my devotionals, I'm reading my scriptures. I oftentimes get ready, like at least like do my skincare, brush my teeth, like all of that type of stuff, like in quiet. I have quiet time. So it's not like I'm a person that does not already have intentional quiet time. So this being this challenging for me, it was tough. And I was shocked because I didn't expect for it to be this tough. And what I did each day was I went between journaling and writing and leaving voice notes, because I still had to work. Like I work from home. So there were a few meetings that I had to take throughout the day. So of course I had to talk, but aside from that, it was 100% silence and quiet. And I would go between like just jotting down notes of things like what I was feeling, thoughts that came up, and then just leaving myself voice notes, because what I wanted to do at the end of the 7 days was like compile everything. So I started this on a Monday, and like the mornings were again manageable because I was used to having quiet time in the morning. And even sometimes during like the day, I would have like periods of just quiet, like, because oftentimes during my work days, like I'll have like soft meditation music playing in the background. But sometimes I'll just turn it off, like as a means of like just focus time and just have nothing playing. So the mornings and some in the afternoons, those were kind of manageable. But the evenings and the night were the toughest. And and again, I have had a lot of reflections and a lot of time to like really process all of this. And even though I'm talking about this weeks later, as I talk about it now, like I'm feeling those reflections again and the things that I was experiencing. But the evenings, I normally, like Monday through Thursday, it's this online evening show, a YouTube show that I watch like every night at 8 o'clock, just for like entertainment. So I normally watch that. And then when I go to bed, I like to go to bed to like just very low, like almost like it's so low, like you can just barely hear it, meditation music, but it's like in the background playing, and not being able to watch my show or play my meditation music to go to bed. It was so hard. Like on day 2, girl, first of all, on day 2, I already felt like it was 2 weeks. Like it was that tough. On day 2, I already felt like I was doing this for 2 weeks. It was that tough. But I was even going through like negotiating in my mind about, okay, I'm doing 7 days of silence. What if I just turn on the TV show and have it on mute, but just have the subtitles playing? Like, I was like trying to negotiate with myself to like feel that space. But of course I didn't do it, because as I've said in my other videos, when I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. So I'm just being honest and saying that I did have the thoughts of like, I guess like cheating a little bit. Like, I can turn on my show, but not actually put it on mute and just read the subtitles. But I didn't do it. I didn't do it. And so during my evenings, I had to figure out ways to fill this space. So what I would do is, oh, and you know what else I have in my notes, and I'm glad I do. I walk every single day. Like, it's a part of just like my wellness practice. I like to get out in the sun. It's a form of like stress relief. It's like all of the things. So I really love walking, and I get out and walk every day. I go walk on the beach. I go walk in the neighborhood. I go walk in the park. I just be walking, girl. And normally when I'm walking, I have my earbuds in, and I'm either listening to like a podcast, or I'm listening to some like praise and worship music, or I'm just like listening to like some like, again, like just soft meditation music. And me not having something playing, that was difficult too. Like, I was immediately aware of like me walking and like not having anything to listen to. So that was a little bit of a challenge as well. And what I filled my evenings with, because I still had, a full work day, but when I logged off, I would cook myself dinner. I would have dinner out on the balcony, which I have not done in such a long time, and just sit out there, eat my dinner, watch the leaves, watch the squirrels, watch the birds, just sit out there for an hour or two. Okay, so this is editing Erica. I wanted to add this in while I was editing the video about the eating part. So it was crazy. As I was going through these 7 days of silence and around like my dinner and eating, and I was telling my friend, I was like, I feel like I'm eating more during this time. But as I thought more about it, I was like, no, I'm not eating more. I'm just more aware of the eating, because you have to think about, when is the last time you actually ate your dinner, your breakfast, your lunch, like with no music, no sound, no TV, no nothing, and just really sat there and like ate your meal, tasted it, just be aware, just present with the meal. And that was different too. Here I am thinking that I'm eating more, and it's like, no, I'm not eating more. Like, and I eat very, very clean anyways, but it was like, no, it was just the awareness of having a meal without watching any TV, without listening to any music, without anything. And I thought that was interesting. Okay, now back to the video. I would cross stitch, of course. I would read. So the things that I read during these 7 days, of course, the Bible. We read the Bible. And again, I read the Bible every day. I'm actually in the process of reading the entire Bible for the second time. So last year I read the Bible cover to cover, and I'm doing it again. So last year I read the King James Version of the Bible, and this year I'm reading the NIV, and I'll actually be done in August. So I'm almost done. So, but I added some additional like Bible readings in the evenings, kind of focused on what I felt like I was struggling with, like faith and trust and all of the things. So there's the ambulance again. Guess now they're leaving. They're coming. I also finished The Company We Keep. I'm going to read some stuff from here because, girl, when I tell you this was on time, oh, so good. And I have 2 chapters left in this. I have been reading this book for a while because this is a book about like personal finance. And you really have to be like in the mood to read this because it's a lot of practical things in this book. And I just have to be in the mindset to read it. So I did. I got almost all the way through it. I got 2 chapters left in that. I did some digital coloring. I took extremely long showers. Like I did a little bit of organizing, but my place is always very organized and very clean. So it's really like I had to find time to really like fill my evenings. I already go to bed pretty early, but I probably went to bed even earlier some nights just because it's like I felt like I like needed to feel the time. And what I was saying about this book, The Company We Keep by Alex L. You see I have all of my things marked. This is a book about friendships, and it is just so good. Not only because I am in a season where I want a few more aligned, deeper friendships, because I'm an introvert. So for me, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. So this book is so good. It not only talks about, she not only shares like her journey with friendships and struggles and joy and building friendships. It's like showing you how to be a good friend, and not even a good friend, like an exceptional friend, especially around vulnerability and emotional intelligence and how to seek out those same types of relationships. But while I was reading this, she has a chapter in here. Like I was telling you, this video is going to be a little all over the place, but I think it's beneficial. I highlighted so many things. She has a chapter in here. It's chapter 7. It's called Healing Hibernation. And she talks a lot about quietness in friendships from a negative and a positive perspective. And so while I'm going through these 7 days of silence, of course, these themes and these conversations around silence just really kind of stuck out to me. And one thing I underlined in here, it says, when we choose to stop running from ourselves, we find ourselves on holy ground. Stillness is sacred. We become better in our hushed moments, not just for ourselves, but for those we want to share space with. And again, I'm in this 7 days of silence and just reading that. I'm like, ooh, this is so good. What else? I've highlighted in here. Change can be frightening, yes, but it can also be the bridge that brings you closer to your authentic self. When you reemerge your healing hibernation, you will be different. At first, the changes may feel subtle, and to those around you, they might even be noticeable. But within, you'll sense transformation taking root. You'll find the stirring of new life within, a subtle but profound shift in how you move throughout the world. And I'm just like, oh, this is so good. She also goes on to say further down the page, getting quiet so we can get clear teaches us how to soften when we once were stuck in our lives, to pause before reacting, to trust in our inner wisdom over the noise of external expectations and distractions. And of course, that really spoke to me. And again, when you're constantly surrounded by external chatter and input, again, the noise, it can become very easy for us to lose sight of what we actually need from ourselves and within our relationships. One of my greatest realizations on the path to being has been understanding that solitude acts as a filter, helping me see more clearly who is in alignment with my values, growth, healing, and who isn't. And sometimes the person out of alignment is me and me alone. So again, she was talking about this from a friendship perspective, but I just applied it just due to what I was currently in the middle of, just around how you were removing noise. You can just tap back into that inner knowing, that inner wisdom. And no matter what on the other side of that, you're going to come out a better person. And that just really spoke to me during that time. Day 5 now. Day 5 was the hardest day. I had some work aggravations and frustrations going on. I had been experimenting with some things in my business that wasn't working. I was waiting on some feedback from a coach that was taking longer than expected. And I just had all of these thoughts, the struggle with all of the silence now on day 5, the aggravation at work, the experimentation in my business that wasn't going as I expected, waiting for some feedback from a coach. And day 5 was like just a very, very, very frustrating day. But what the silence revealed was not just a habit, but how I had been regulating my nervous system. So what I know about me for sure is that I use sound to help regulate my nervous system, like for a sense of calm and peace. That's why I've shared, like, I'm navigating a 9 to 5, and it is in a space of misalignment, not burnout, but misalignment. So I listen to meditation music throughout the day, listen to it at night. Like, I listen to praise and worship. Like, I use these and they work. Like, nothing is wrong with doing those things. Clearly they work for me, because the moment that I took them away, I felt it. And the realization that I had was that these sound practices that I use, they really do help. They really are doing the job. And the absence of them showed me exactly what they were managing, and then my brain, because again, like, I'm talking about the stuckness that I'm just feeling in my business and how I want things to grow more and be able to, like, really be this bridge for me to step out of this 9 to 5. And like I said, things aren't working. So the things around finances, like, ruminating in my head, and just a lot of thoughts. And also during these 7 days, I had a lot of, like, unusual dreams. Like, of course, I think we all dream, but I'm the type of person, like, I say I don't really dream, or at least I don't remember the dreams, but I definitely had a lot of, like, unusual dreams during these 7 days as well. I don't really remember them now, but it's something that if I do this again in the future, and if this happens, I'm gonna write down the dreams. Also, because I was telling you I was reading the Bible every night, as well as my practice that I do in the morning, on day 6 in my assigned readings, I was instructed to read the book of Habakkuk. I hope that's how you say it, pronounce it. Habakkuk. Habakkuk, on the night of day 6. And this book is definitely not a book that you kind of, like, a popular book in the Bible that you hear about often. After reading it, some of the things were a little bit familiar. So I was like, I definitely have read it before. But again, this was like divine timing that I was assigned this book to read. I think it's only 3 chapters. And it's about a prophet. And he in this book is asking God, like, why and how? Like, how long is this? Why is this happening? How long is this? And again, these are the questions that I was asking during this time and what led me to doing these 7 days of silence. And I felt like just me being assigned this, like, coincidentally, but really not coincidentally, because, I felt like this was a divine download from God, but it really met me exactly where I was at, because although Habakkuk was asking God about how could he allow evil and injustice, the main message of the books teaches that believers should maintain their faith in God's promises and find joy in him rather than relying on their own understanding during difficult or confusing times. And when I say that just blessed me down to the ground, it really, really blessed me. But remember, I told you day 5 was like my hardest overall day. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, day 5, because I started on the Monday. So day 5 was a Friday. And when I tell you, again, this is why I'm sharing this. And I know I'm being very long-winded. And I'm going to share how I think what I'm sharing with you about what I experienced can help you as well. But on the evening of day 5, I was overflowing with like creativity. My creative juices were like all over the place. Like, I mapped out my entire experience flow for the refill. I visually designed the slides, like, to be like, just to curate that space of calm and ease and creativity. Like, my creativity was like through the roof on that Friday. And then it poured over until that Saturday, and I ended up recording like 3 YouTube videos on that day. And I mean, because I don't know if you know, but it takes a lot to do a YouTube video. Thinking of the topic, then I like to do at least like notes on kind of what I want to say, just to keep the conversation structured, then filming it, then editing it, even though I do very little editing, which still have to edit it, then creating the thumbnail, then uploading it, writing the description, the SEO tags. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot going on. But doing 3, like, my creativity was just like through the roof. And again, that came off of me just having a very, very hard day. Also, on the morning of day 6, I woke up to a book sale. I'm sure if you know about my book, Release and Renew, Transform Burnout into Purpose and Unlock Joy and Ease. And I think that was just, again, God just giving me a little tap on the shoulders, like, I got you. Like, here's just, and a book sale it's not going to change. One book sale isn't going to change my life, but that's not the point. It's like those little nuggets, those little taps on the shoulder, and me getting quiet enough for 7 whole days to really tap into that. And so I ended the 7 days on day 7. On day 7, which was a Sunday. And going back to work, like, that next Monday, I just had a peace over me that just could not be explained. And I know that it only came from me doing those 7 days of silence and just the revelations that I had. And then that Monday turned into the full week. Like, I had a full week of just overwhelming peace. And again, I just felt like that was God telling me, like, I got you, like, I got you. So what I walked away from with this 7 days of silence, I didn't feel like I had like some miraculous divine download. Like, God didn't give me $1 million idea, or at least not yet. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't anything like dramatic per se, but I do have a lot more self-trust self-knowledge, that inner knowing, and those little nuggets that God dropped on me during those 7 days, like with the book of Habakkuk, me having that creative surge and designing my workflow for the refill and the designs and just everything, me having the book sale on the morning of day 6, like just all of those little nuggets he was tapping, even the realization to know that how I use sound throughout my day really does help regulate my nervous system. And being not having that, I was aware that how good that works for me. And just the awareness in action, the awareness in the pivot. And even when the results aren't what I want, at least not right now, I'm still collecting data about myself, about my business, about the things that I'm trying, and all of that matters. All of that really matters. So this video isn't for you to try 7 days of silence, but what you can ask yourself is, what is the noise doing for you? What is it managing? What are you not hearing because of it? Because we have so much noise around us. Social media, TV, podcasts, ads, at work, our families, like neighbors, friends, mentors, teachers, all these things just clawing for our attention. And what is that noise doing for you? What is it preventing you from hearing? So while you don't have to do 7 days of silence, even the things like the doom scrolling, the constant moving, the constant doing, the constant go, the constant executing, not the being disconnected from yourself. You know, I talk about that a lot, like just really thinking about all that, and maybe thinking about how some quiet time or some stillness could really work for you, even if that's just having your mornings be quiet, your evenings be quiet, maybe not putting your cell phone on D&D for the first part of the weekend. Like anything you can do to get quiet, to hear your own thoughts, to hear God speak to you, to tap into your inner knowing, to tap into your inner knowledge. Like just thinking about that. And I've been doing this internal work for years. I got my camera cut off, but as I was saying, I've been doing this internal work for years. You know, like my devices are all on silent. They've been on silent for years. I have intentional morning routines. I don't have any personal social media, and this still was such a challenge for me. But it also just goes to show you how much noise we have around us, like how loud the world actually is, and why it's just important, like I always say, to just constantly check in with yourself, asking yourself the hard questions. Does this still work for me? Is this still in alignment with me? How does this make me feel? Like all of those things are so important, and especially when we're on the other, I think it's important anytime, but more important for me, it's just really important while I'm on the other side of this. I'm 4 years into my lifestyle redesign. It's just another way for me to continue to check in with myself. And like I said in the beginning, I started doing this because I just felt like me feeling stuck and like everything isn't working. Like if I get too far into those thought patterns, it's like, okay, Erica, like I need to do something different. And the 7 days of silence were something definitely different for me. And it was challenging, and I'm glad that I did it. And like I said, it doesn't have to be 7 days for you, but maybe it can be an hour throughout the day. Maybe it can be a quiet morning. Maybe it can be a background with no background noise, or whatever that may look like for you. You know, just getting quiet enough for you to hear yourself, to hear God, to tap into that inner knowing, to drown out, to quiet the external noise and maybe some of the internal noise that's there. Because We can be aware of what's happening in our lives and do absolutely nothing and continue to stay stuck. I think that's what so many people do. Like, know something has to change, know something has to fix, and just choose to stay stuck. And this was my way of getting unstuck. And it really did help me. Again, I didn't have a miraculous divine download or God gave me like $1 million idea, but he definitely gave me some nuggets to just hold on to and to stay rooted in his word and his promises, and to really let me know that he has my back. So I shared this with some of my girlfriends and they were like, well, would you do it again? And I would definitely do it again for sure. I just would do it in a little bit more structured way. So I would have something to really focus on, even though I feel like I did a good job, especially with me like actually dictating and writing down and voice noting like things that came up for me. How was I feeling? I've thought about this years ago. I even would like to do one of those silent retreats one day. I had a friend recommend one to me, and that's in California, and I would really like to do that. And I know those are more structured as well, but I would definitely do it again. And what do I have in my notes here? So I have, just give yourself, you don't have to do it the Erica way, but just give yourself 1 day, 1 hour, 1 evening of real quiet, like no productivity, no self-improvement, just that stillness. And it feels uncomfortable. And I've been doing this for years and it still felt very uncomfortable to remove it all for 7 days and just be with whatever comes up for you. Like I said, day 5 was really challenging for me, but on the other side of day 5, I had a creative overflow that ran over all that night and into the next day. So yeah, I have written here, because the woman who needs this is, I can't even read my own writing, because the woman who needs this most is probably the one who hasn't been still in a very long time. And that's exactly why it's worth trying. Yeah, so let me know if anything came up for you. Let me know if anything resonated with you. Let me know any feedback you want to share. I also want to know, when was the last time that you were truly still? Let me know in the comments, like not sleep or not meditating or not with a app in your ear, just still. Let me know in the comments and let me know if anything resonated with you, or share this with a woman who may need to hear it. I know this is probably one of the longest videos I've ever done. I know it was a little all over the place, but I really hope it blessed you. I really hope you got something from it. This 7 days of silence was tough, but I'm glad that I did it. I'm glad that I listened to my inner knowing, and I definitely do it again. So until the next video, bye. Okay, if you're still watching, you're one of my true video watchers and subscribers. This really has nothing to do with the silence video, but it kind of does in a way. But what I wanted to share, I've shared on other videos, like a part of my goals for this year was to read more fiction books. And I really want to talk about that really quickly, because I read one fiction, like I hadn't been reading any. I've still been reading. We're in July and I still had not been reading any fiction books, but a fiction book was recommended to me on this page that I follow. And I'm glad, because it was a book that I probably wouldn't have chosen, but it's called The Midnight Train by Matt Haig. And when I tell you it was so good, girl, I finished it. And here's the thing, I'm really not an audiobook girl. Like, I like physical books, but I was like, okay, if I'm going to tap my foot back into fiction, maybe I should do an audiobook. So I did the audiobook, girl, and it was so good. And the narrator has like a British accent, so that made it even better. And it was just, oh, it was so good. It's about a love story. It's about time travel. It's about life. It's about knowing yourself and living life to the fullest. It's so good. The Midnight Train by Matt Haig. And then the next book that I just started reading, I'm another audio book. So I'm like, oh, like fiction. I thought, I'm so glad that And the Midnight Train book is having a book club coming up soon in my area, and I'm gonna go because it's so good that I was like, I would love to like just have a discussion around it. And then in the second fiction book that I started reading actually yesterday, but I'm like on chapter 12, is also an audio book. It's by it's called I'll put it up on the screen, but I think it's like the reinvention or the rediscovery or the something of Dion Daphne, and it's by Mara Brock-Akil. So the lady who did Girlfriends and Being Mary Jane in the Netflix series Forever that I've watched like 30 times. It's so good. But it is such a good book. It kind of puts me in the mind of like, if you a millennial girl like me, the Eric Jerome Dickey kind of books, but it's just so good. Like it's so those are the two fiction books that I'm reading, and they are so good. And I'm glad that I finally got to reading fiction, and this is just opening back up my curiosity, my creativity around reading fiction, and just laying off of the personal development and the self-help just for a little while, and just tapping more into my fiction and just imagination and curiosity. So this is your invitation to either read one of these books or just go out and get a fiction book and just read for the day or for this week or for next month. Okay. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.